session we created coach views. In today's session we are going to create task services, and we are going to bind those task services with the various steps we have in the process. So let's start off. We are going to click on the user interface plus icon, and we are going to create a new client-side human service. Okay, and we are going to name it as enter account information. So this will be the task service for the first step in the process. So here what you see is there is a coach over here. Okay, this is basically the component that will contain your user interface. It can have coach views, and it can have sections, fields, anything, I mean buttons, everything that is part of the interface will be incorporated on this coach. If you click on this arrow, click on the coach button, you will click the OK button, you will see the interface. Here it has a default button. Okay, we are going to remove it. What you are going to do is we are going to make a tab based approach. Okay, for the various coach views we created, we can have a tab for each coach view. Okay, so what we can do is let's add a panel to contain all the tabs, or maybe the heading of the task service. So we can have a panel over here. We can name it as enter account information. Okay, here we can drag drop a tab. I mean within this panel we can drag drop a tab section. Okay, and what we can do is we can make each coach view a part of this tab. So let's start off. We have the request details CV. Okay, the request details CV that we created in the last section. We can drag drop this CV. Then we have the customer info. We can drag drop this customer info CV like this. Sorry, I think I drag dropped above the tab section, so we can drag drop like this. Okay, and then we can have the address. This is the address details CV. Next we have is the ID info. We can drag drop the ID info CV. Then we have the financial info, financial details. Okay, and last we have the account details. Okay, account details CV. So once we have drag dropped all these CVs into the tabs, our main layout is complete. We can click on this tab, and we can rename the default headings it has given to every tab, because it is on the name of the CV itself. So we can simply rename it. I think I forgot to rename address details as address details CV, so let's leave that for now. Financial details CV, we are going to just change the names. Once that is done, each CV is expecting a configuration, so a binding, sorry. So it is expecting a binding of an object of type request details. Here it is expecting a binding of an object of type customer info. So whatever we defined in the last section, we need to bind the relevant object with this CV. For that, first we go to the variable section of this task service. Okay, here we are going to define an input. The input will be account opening. This is the same object that we created in the business process, which is going to hold all the data, the main business object that we have, and we are going to pass the same object as an output, so that any changes that are made using the coach views on this in this particular object, they are sent as an output as well. So please define an output of type account opening. Name should be the same, because we need to pass the same object that was passed as an input as an output as well. Okay, so this is account opening, so that any changes that are made in this object are captured in this relevant object, and then these can be mapped onto the business process where this task is eventually incorporated. We'll see all these details step by step, but the main idea is to keep the define two variables, input and output, and these should be the same variables, same data type. Okay, next we can rename this task service as well. Let's name it as enter account information. Okay, and then next when we go on to this coach, what we can do is we can simply go on to each tab. Okay, and complete the binding. We are going to select account opening dot request details. Here we are going to select account opening dot customer info. Here we are going to select account opening dot address details. In the next, we are going to select account opening dot ID info. In this section, we are going to select account opening dot financial details, and in the last section, we are going to select account opening dot account details. So this completes our binding. Okay, then I think we kept some visibility variables as well for some of the coaches. If we go to the configuration, I mean, we have a list that is to be used to populate the drop down which is there in this coach view, and we have some visibility variables as well. uh, so request type variable, I mean, it has to be read only on all the tasks other than the one that is going to initiate the process. So let's pass the string as read only. Okay, if you pass this as read only, what happens is if you open this coach view, it is expecting this configuration option, right? I have passed from the main coach the value as read only. Okay, this is the configuration option that I have passed from the main coach. If I go to the layout and if I click on this variable, we have set this visibility as request type visibility as, I mean, we have used this variable to set the visibility of this control. So whatever I pass from the main coach, I mean, it will be captured in this variable, and then it will eventually be used to set the visibility of this control. Okay, so we can what we can do now is we can see all the drop downs that we have. Okay, we can define a list for those drop downs. Okay, and we can pass these lists as a configuration option to each of the coach views. Like we have title, we have request type, so we have to define a list for each of these drop downs. So for that, what we can do is we can go to the diagram, we can define a script over here. Okay, I mean, normally what we do is we have to pick these, these are called lookups, name value pairs. These are lookups. We have to pull these lookups from the database, but since we don't have database yet configured, I mean, in this series, we'll definitely, I mean, once we have the database, we are going to show you how we can pick these entities or LOVs from the database. But for now, we are just going to hard code. Okay, we are going to hard code, and we are going to proceed with our implementation. Once we come on to the database integration part, we are going to see how this part can be um, implemented using database. I am simply going to connect this script, and for this I am going to show you later how these outgoing paths are going to emerge from this task. We are going to see that later. What I can do is I can name it as init. Okay, init, or maybe we can say init LOVs. Okay, LOVs are list of values. So here what we can do is we first have to define private variables which are going to hold these lists. Okay, because each drop down is a list, right? We have to define those private variables. So we can have a request type. Okay, this is a list of name value pair. Show all business objects and name value pair. We can have we can have language. Let's open the coach views one by one, and also verify what drop downs we need to define. Okay, what lists we need to define. So what we can do is I can open the same coach. Okay, we have request type in this one, we have nationality and title in the second one. Nationality, title, and language we already defined, but let's define nationality and title. So I'm going to define nationality, list of name value pair. Then I'm going to define title, list of name value pair. Okay, nationality, title, and let's look at the other coach views that we have. We have address details. Address details can be, I mean, there is no drop down in address details. In ID info, we have place of birth and country of birth. Let's define these. We have place of birth, and we have country of birth. List of name value pair. Okay, so once this is done, next we need to define these variables over here. Okay, lists, we have to define these lists. tw.local tw.local is the way we access any variables. Okay, any variables that we define, input, output, private. This is default syntax of IBM BAW. We say tw.local dot. IntelliSense can be used by we press dot and then we say control and space. Okay, control and space, we pressed control and then we press space, it will keep showing this. Let me just make this. Okay, control and space. So we are going to do tw.local dot title. Sorry, let's do request type first is equal to, it's and just one more thing, when we go to the variables, I mean we have to make sure that this is a list. I mean all of these variables should be lists. I think that we have already done that. tw.local.request type, what we do is we first define it as a list. For to define as a list, we use this, I mean pure JavaScript, we use this square brackets. Okay, this defines it as a list. And then for each item in the list, we are going to define an object, because each item in this list is a name value pair. So we do like this: request type 0. First we declare the object, okay, using these angular brackets. Then we do tw.local.request type 0 dot name is equal to, let's hard code for now, individual. Okay, and then we can say value. Okay, we have to populate the name and value. We can say this is, let's keep the value as the same for now, individual. Okay, and then we can have another request type maybe. We can have maybe conditional. Okay, or let's name it a minor account. Okay, minor. Okay, so similarly we can define other LOVs as well. We can maybe copy paste this and we can define the other LOVs like tw.local dot we can say title. Okay, then just copy this and we can just paste title like this. Okay, we can just replace whatever we did. Let's have 3 titles. Okay, we can have title as Mr. Mrs. and Miss. Okay, so these are the titles we have defined. What else do we have? We have to define all these lookups. The next one can be language. Okay, language. So we do like this, language, and we just copy paste. Okay, after language we have nationality. Okay, and nationality, I mean, we can have uh, maybe we can have Pakistan, and we can have maybe let's name it as US. Okay, and then we have language. I mean, language is done. What else do we have? We have place of birth and country of birth. Okay, so place of birth we can simply just copy paste, Control C, and like this we can do place of birth, copy paste. I mean, first define a list, then define the object in that list at each index, and how, I mean, if you need to have 3 index, you define three times the same code, I mean, and replace whatever strings you want to add. Okay, but you have to define each index of the list for each item that you wish to sorry, have in this list. Place of birth and country of birth, and let's set the values later. Okay, so country of birth, okay, so what I can do here is place of birth, I can say maybe Pakistan. I mean, place of birth can be the same as we can have, let's put cities over here, Lahore, and we can say Karachi, and maybe we can add some place in the US. Okay, some state or city. Okay, this is the second index of that list. Okay, and country of birth again can be Pakistan and US. So I think we are pretty much done with the definition of LOVs. We can also, just debug and see if there aren't any errors in our script. This is a debug button. We have a play button as well, but it's better to debug. When we click on this button, it will open a pop-up. Okay, and here in this pop-up, I can simply do step over. If there are any errors, it is going to tell me at once, and I can, just fix my script and, try to debug again. But if I see, I mean, I have these private variables, all of them have values now. Okay, place of birth, it is saying Lahore, Karachi, Chicago, and then request type is also there, individual, minor. Okay, and then nationality is there. I mean, all the items that we defined are, I mean, in place. Okay, so we have an item in each of these lists. Next, what we have to do is we have to open this task, and we have to, do the configurations of the lists that we are which our coach views are expecting. So we go to the configuration, request type list, we click on this, and we just select the private variable that we have, the request type list. This is the list that we defined. For each of the coach views, we have to do the same. We have title, nationality, language. We have to do binding of all these lists. Title, then nationality, and then language. Similarly, for this one, address details, I mean, there are no lookups. ID info, we have to do the bindings. Place of birth and country of birth. And then for the financial details, we have job title list. I think we missed this one. So job title, we can, just keep Control S, we save it, as well as we go to the private variable, define job title. Okay, this will also be this will also be a list of the type name value pair. Okay, and we can simply, add a list over here for it, job title. job title. We are going to define this lookup list, and this can be, I mean, software or maybe an IT engineer. And here we can have maybe an accountant. Okay, so then we again go on to our coach and just complete this binding, okay, of the configuration option. This is the job title. Okay, so this completes the binding. Next, what we can do is we can have some actions, on our task service. Okay, because if you see the business process, I mean, I entered a cancellation path that we want to cancel the request and we want to submit the request as well. So for that, what I can do is, and maybe there was one rejection button, we can check that too. So let's put a horizontal layout first. This is will be directly onto your coach. Okay, let's not put it in the panel. We can put it directly into the coach view. Horizontal layout, and then we can put buttons. Buttons can be cancel and button can be submit. Configurations, appearance. Let's align them towards the right. Okay, and we can name these buttons as submit, and we can name this one as cancel. Okay, these are basically the actions that will be coming out of your coach. Okay, okay, so I can just give it some colors as well. And when you go onto the diagram, what you will do is you have to set some decision variables. Okay, because when you take any action on the coach, you have to tell your business process as well. Okay, this action will has been taken and this is the path I will take as a result of this action. For that, I mean, it is advisable to open this account opening object and define a decision variable. Okay, decision variable, this will hold the decision and we can complete the mapping of our decision gateways as well, using this decision variable. Okay, so I go on to this enter account information, I go on to the diagram, and what I do is I have to simply drag drop two scripts over here, one for each action that I'm taking. Okay, and let me just reopen this. I mean, it is showing this red icon. I want to just reopen this. It's showing some. Let me open now. It's gone. Okay, so in case your you know uh your flow gets sometimes it starts showing some warnings. I mean, you cannot drag drop tasks or events. So for that, I mean, it's advisable that you just reopen your task service. Okay, so what you do now is just drag drop. I mean, you just take out the uh, events out of your coach like this, and it will it I mean, it automatically tells, okay, there are two action items, submit and cancel, but you can change them as well. If you click this line, you can just select and you can click on these items. Okay, finish, cancel, sorry, this is the one, submit and cancel. You click on this and you click finish button, it will bind to the respective event that you have on the coach. Okay, just give me a moment, please. Okay, so what you can do now is you can map your decision. I mean, this is set submit decision. Okay, because we are taking some actions on the coach and we need to bind the respective set the respective decision variable so that it can be later used onto the process. And then set cancel decision. Okay, both the decisions, I mean, you are going to set the decision variables, and but both will simply finish your task. Okay, because any further actions that you need to take based on this variable will be utilized in your business process. So what I do now is I say tw.local dot account opening dot decision is equal to, let's make it submit, and then here I will say tw.local dot account opening dot decision is equal to cancel. Okay, so what we can do now is maybe we can debug a bit. Okay, debug again. Just step over. This step over means that I want to skip this step. I mean, I can see the data that is there on each step. When I step over, it will execute this step. It will show me the data that got defined as a result of the script. Account opening is empty. Let's do one more thing. Just to debug, what you have to do is you have to give a default value to this. Okay, because there is nothing in the object. If you start accessing it like this, I mean account opening dot decision, it will crash. When we execute using the business process, this variable will be defined at that moment, but if you are debugging, it's better that you just give it a default value like this. Okay, so that it does not say you object is not defined, or you are not, I mean you cannot proceed with the debugging unless this object is initialized. So let's stop and debug it again. Okay, let me debug again. Okay, step over. Okay, it will show me all the data, then step over. Okay, and then if I come over here, it shows me my I mean coach, and here I can see customer info. If I see this, I can see the titles now. Okay, and then if I see language, I can see the language, language, I mean it is showing a different one. Let's fix this. Okay, I can I have to fix these issues. So I have to fix language. What about others? Country of birth is fine, place of birth is fine, financial details, job title is fine as well. What do I have to fix? I have to fix this language. Okay, it is showing Mr., Mrs., Miss, which is wrong. So let's fix that. Okay, I got an issue, I have to fix it. Let's come over here. Language I did not fix. Okay, so I can give it, maybe let's just keep two languages, Urdu and English. Okay, Urdu and maybe Arabic as well. Okay, now I can debug it again. Step over, step over. This time let's see if our language is fixed or not. Okay, this is the customer info tab and it is fixed. Okay, now when I press any of these buttons, look, all other things are fine for now. If I press any button like submit button, it will take me over here. Okay, if I see my view, okay, it takes me over here. I press step over. Okay, let's see the decision that got set. Decision account opening dot decision, it is submit. Okay, so that means that it is showing a tick mark as well. That means it got debugged successfully. Our decision is also set correctly. Let's debug the other path as well. Debug, step over, step over. Okay, I say cancel this time. I'll cancel this time. Okay, cancel. If I step over, the decision will be cancel. Okay, so the first task, I mean we have almost done. I mean there are some validations that I would like to do, some visibilities maybe later on, but the idea was to define a basic task service first. What we can do is we can simply replicate this task service. Okay, and we can quickly create other task services as well. So let me do that for you. What we do is normally, I mean we just define one task service, and then we create a replica of that task service, we simply change our buttons, decisions, and we do our configurations. I mean, the visibilities can be different for each task, but I mean, this is a quick way of completing at least your business flow. So I'm just going to create a duplicate for this. I mean, duplicate one. Let's name it as um, let's name it as branch authorization. Okay, this was the second step. Okay, and then we can open our process in fact to see what task services we have. Okay, we have branch authorization, then we have account opening maker review, and then we have account opening checker review. Okay, update and account opening checker review. Then let's define these. Okay, so what I can do next is I can simply create a duplicate of this. I can rename this to TS, and then I can simply create another duplicate, and then I can rename this to account opening checker review. Okay, I'll finish this, and then what I can do next is I can simply open my process, or we can let's open the process first. We can open the process, we can do the data bindings. Okay, we can do the implementation of these task services, and later based on what decisions we have in the business process, we can amend the actions on each task. Okay, so I mean the buttons that we have on each task, so that relevant paths can be taken. So let's do that quickly, and maybe we can complete some stuff in the next session as well. Enter account information. So this was the first task. Okay, so okay, I have done the implementation. What is the data mapping? It is expecting an account opening object as input. Okay, so that we can display any data that was entered while this step was initialized, and it is expecting account opening object as an output. What about the decision variable? We have the decision now. Okay, so we have this let's just we can we have to define one of the options, because two options are coming out. One path will be taken by default, and whatever decision I mean we give over here, if it is the same value that we have written over here, it will take the submit path, otherwise it will take the cancellation path. So let's select account opening dot request account opening dot decision. I'm not going to use this one. Okay, we can use equal and operators as well, but I prefer using directly operators over here. Submit. This was the action we defined in our coach. Okay, so we are going to hard code the same string over here. Okay, and then branch authorization, similarly we can select this task that we created, and we can do its data mapping like this: account opening and account opening. For the decision, I mean it is either it is approving or it is rejecting. Okay, so we can we have not done it, but we can just open the task service later and complete this as well. Let's complete the implementation. Decision equal. Let's flip it maybe. Okay, flip account opening dot decision. Let's do it. Approve. Okay, so approve, it will go over here. Reject will go back. And similarly, if we go over here, we can do the mapping implementation of this service: account opening maker update. Okay, and then we can do the data mapping: account opening okay is an input to this task, account opening as an output to this task as well, output from this task. What about it? It does not have any decision. I mean we can simply just submit to the next step. What about this one? Account maker update general. We can do the implementation. It is the checker task, so account opening checker review. Data mapping, similarly we can do the data mapping: account opening and account opening, and then we can simply go to this decision gateway. We have two paths coming out of it. We can approve, we can return to the maker, and we can simply return to the branch maker. So let's rename these decisions. We can say, implement these decisions. Account opening dot decision dot is equal, we can say return to branch maker. Okay, and then this one is approve. Okay, so these are the two decisions out of this task. Okay, so we have done the implementation of the task services. We have on the process, we have defined the decisions. Let's now quickly complete the decisions that we need to take on the tasks. Okay, we need to work on two tasks: branch authorization and because it can approve or reject, and then account opening checker, it can submit. Okay, let's see the decision. It can approve, it can return to the maker, or it can return to the account opening it can return to the account opening maker or the branch maker. So let's do the implementation. Let's open the branch authorization first. Okay, we can open this task. It's a replica, but it's the working copy is different, right? We whatever changes we make to this particular task will be restricted to this task only. It will not impact the parent from which we created the duplicate is just to you speed up the development. Okay, I can rename it as branch authorization. Okay, and if I just quickly run it for you, it's the same. Okay, we just have to change a few things. I have changed the label. I can change the panel name as well. Okay, it comes enter account information. Let's rename it to branch authorization. I'll come over here. I'll just it has its own working copy, right? I'm just going to rename it as branch authorization. And then the buttons, I need to have two buttons here, approve and reject. So I'm just going to rename these buttons approve, and then I'm going to make this as reject. Maybe I can change some colors, configuration, maybe I can do color style success, and here I can say color style is danger. Okay, so approve reject is done, and I'm going to change the binding. We have to just set the decisions now. The binding is already there of the buttons, so set approve decision, and here I can say set reject decision. Okay, and we can use the same strings that we have in our business process. Here I can use approve. For the rejection, we are taking the default part, so it even doesn't matter what I type over here. Okay, and if I run this now, I can simply say approve, it works fine. Service completed. And if I even press the reject button, service will be completed. I can debug it as well, like I debugged the previous step. Let's do a quick debug. I can give, default value will be already be there because it was there in the task from which I copied. So I can quickly debug it. Okay, if I press the approve button, okay, I step over, I just click the diagram. Okay, the diagram will show you where it is. Let me debug again. Okay, this is the editor. I can step over. If I press the approve button, okay, and if I open this now, there will be no decision because I did not pass the script yet. I can click step over, and I can simply see my decision. It is approved. Okay, similarly, if you debug for the cancellation rejection, your reject decision will come over here. Okay, let's complete the final task. The final task is account opening. It's the account opening checker or maker. Let's do the maker first. I mean, here we don't have any decisions, we just have the submit button. So account opening maker update. Okay, we can change the panel name as well. And here we just have the submit button. Okay, we just have the submit button over here. I'm just going to delete the cancel button here. What I do is I just delete this path. Action can stay as submit. Okay, decision can stay as submit, but I mean the decision setting this decision is not necessary because there are no decisions in the process flow based on this decision. The last one is account opening checker. Okay, and one last thing, I mean in the maker I think I forgot to rename the panel. I think, let me check. Let's see if I renamed the panel or not. I think I have. So I'll close this task. I'll open the checker, account opening checker. Here we have multiple decisions. I mean, we can set return to maker. And we have set return to branch checker, set return to branch maker we have done, set return to account opening maker decision. Okay, and then we can simply approve, set approve decision. We can have a drop down as well where we can select these decisions, but I prefer to keep buttons for now just to keep it simple. We can simply keep a drop down as well. Based on the drop down, whatever value we select based, we can simply set the decision based on that. But let's keep buttons for each action that we have, and here it will be set approve, but we have to define the buttons yet. Okay, set approve decision. So let's open the coach. Here it will be account opening checker review. Okay, the buttons will be, I'll just put one more button. Okay, and the button will come over here. I can just rename return to branch maker, return to account opening maker, and the last one will be approve. This can be maybe a success button. Okay, and this maybe can be something different, maybe info maybe. Okay, let's correct the spellings as well. Okay, so these are the different buttons, and I have just to define this one. Okay, because rest are defined, the approval is not defined. I can just select. Okay, and I'll just do the binding finish. Okay, and if I have not set the decisions, I need to set those as well. Return to branch maker. This should be the same strings that we have in the process. Okay, return to branch maker, then we have return, this one was not used because this is the default path, return to account, but still, just to for a better practice, we are going to put everything in this. I mean, for all paths we are going to set this decision variable. So return to account opening maker. Okay, because checker can send to the maker, and then this one was used. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it over here, and this will be return to account opening. Or just rename it as approve. Okay, one thing that is still left is I mean, we have this table as well, right? We have, let me run this. Okay, I'm not going to debug this one, but let me show you one thing. We have this account details, I mean, and here I think we need to do some configurations. We need to set the account type, account currency, okay, because these were, I think, lists as well. And we have to add, show the buttons to add or delete from this table. I mean, we had configuration options for that. Maybe I can show that in the next session, but in today's session, what I can do is maybe we can have a quick run of this process. I told you that we are going to, initiate this process from the outside. Okay, I'm using an ad hoc task which we will create in the next session along with this account table. We can work on some visibilities, some validations on the coaches, but I mean we can run it from here for now as well, because if we run from here, only difference will be that there will be no, initial input data. Whatever will be defined will be at this first step, enter account information. But here again you cannot choose the request type. It is a read only variable, so it's necessary to have that ad hoc task. Okay, I mean in this demo, I have not, given branch maker the rights to edit the request type. So yeah, I mean I want you just to have a look at the process, how you can run it directly as well for now. So you just click the run button, okay, like this, and you'll get your first task over here. I mean, okay, this is assigned to the branch maker. It shows the role to which the task is assigned. You just click this run button, okay, and here I'm just going to take a happy path, okay, for now. There are no validations as such right now. We are going to implement those as we, build on this process. But what I can do is I can simply press the submit button. If I press the submit button, it goes to the next step. It takes this path, it goes to the next step. I can, because I am the developer right now, I have access to this designer, I can execute any task I want. Okay, I can simply do it by clicking the play button. But once, the end users use the system, they are going to claim this task using the portal. The next task will definitely be assigned to the users who are defined in the relevant, team. Okay, the teams that we have binded with this relevant lane. Okay, the task is in this lane, the lane is associated with the team, and in the team we add users or groups, so the task will be assigned to the users who are there in the, I mean, relevant group. Okay, but for this demonstration purpose, I mean I'm going to run directly from this process designer. If I click the play button, I can, claim the task. Okay, and this is the next step. Okay, I can simply, press approve over here. We could have, entered some details. Maybe I can enter some details right now so I can show you that the details are reflected on the next step. I'll just fill a few fields. Address 1. Okay, I click approve. If I open the next task, I mean you will see the variables that I entered. Okay, because we are using the main business object, we are sending it as an output to the task. We are look, Mrs. Samya, and then we have the address details as well. Maybe I can enter address line 2. Okay, and I can submit. Okay, when I open this checker task, okay, let me check address line 2. It comes over here. How is this happening? Because we used this main business object. If we check the data mapping, it is being sent as an input to the task. It is being passed as an output from the task. Whatever changes we are making, I mean on the fields in the coach views, I mean those are getting binded with this object directly. Because what is our path? What is our mapping path? Account opening dot customer info dot title or address, account opening dot address line 1 2. So whatever changes we are making are getting reflected in this main business object. And since we are passing this object as an output, we are taking it as an input as well, and we are sending it as an output as well. So the changes will automatically be reflected. When we pass something as an input to the task, I mean whatever got entered on the previous task will definitely reflect on the step. And whenever we pass it as an output, whatever changes we made on that relevant step will be captured in this object and will be sent as an output to the next step. I mean, because it is mapped to the business process object. Look, this account opening is the business process object. Okay, and the same is used on all the task services. I mean, once any activity gets completed like this one, it will, pass this as an output to this business process variable. And when the next step starts, this one, it will be taking the same object as an input. So that is how it is working. Okay, so I'll just refresh it. Account opening checker review. I think I've opened this task. Account opening checker review. What I can do for now is I can take multiple decisions, but to keep it simple, let's approve. When I approve, it went over here and it completed my entire business process. Okay, why it didn't show these steps? Because I have not done any mapping for these as yet, so it did not show these paths, activities in my tasks. But we can do this implementation as well. When we execute, it will start showing that okay, these were the steps that were executed. When we see the data, if you open the data, it will have everything. The last decision it is also capturing, it was approved on this task, it is also capturing that I entered some address. Let's check the address details. Look, address line 1 2. In customer info I captured my name, so I can see the name as well. Okay, we can spend more time on debugging as well or executing this flow, but in the next session we'll definitely be triggering this process from the outside using some ad hoc task. We are going to work on the visibilities, because right now the fields are visible. They are editable on every task. We are going to work on the visibilities. We are going to make some fields mandatory, and we are going to work on the validations as well. And the next step is maybe we are going to work on this account details table as well. Okay, but that is it for today's session. Thank you very much.